Everyone has a good story to tell, and you know it's good when the person leans in and says, see, what had happened was, and then they tell their story. Well, this podcast provides just those opportunities to tell those types of stories. The stories will be the good, the bad, and everything in between.
We wanted to do this podcast to showcase stories in education and give flowers to educators who deserve it, even though they may never get an award for their excellence.
Our guests will feature parents, students, teachers, administrators, just about anyone who is involved in education. These stories will inspire you, challenge you, and help you to reflect on your practice of education, whether it be from inside the classroom or out.
If you have a good story to tell, we'd love to hear it. Email us at contact@knowthedaughty.org. We'd love to have you or your story on a future episode. See What Had Happened starts now.
Hi, and welcome to the first episode of See What Had Happened, our educational podcast. During this time, we're going to talk about some stories that we as educators have seen, and you may not know who we are. So, Danielle, how about you start us off? Who are you?
Hey, my name is Danielle. I have been a second grade teacher for about 7 years now. I have an undergraduate degree in journalism, and I have a master's degree in early childhood education.
Awesome.
Tell me about you.
Well, my name is Andre, and I'm Andre Daughtys. I've been in education. This is year 20.
Woo.
Yes, I started at the Langston University,
Shout out
HBCU in Oklahoma, and I was an elementary educator. From there, I've taught everything from 3rd grade through 8th grade officially. And from there, I've also done some instructional coaching and tech coaching and tech specialists and adjunct professors and keynotes and stuff like that. And so, yeah, you're more than welcome to book me. We would appreciate that. We do virtual, yes we do. We also do in person as long as it is socially distanced and everything is fair and clean and safe and all like that. We can rock with that. What we love about this is that we just wanted to create a podcast to tell stories. Oftentimes in education, you don't hear the good stories, you only hear the bad stories. You don't see the inspirational stories, you only see the negative stories on whatever media. And so we wanted to start and to share some of these stories. You want to do the story first, or you want me to do the story first?
Listen, you can do the story
Okay,
first.
okay.
Okay, let's talk about this.
All right.
What grade did you teach? Where were you?
So this was my entry year of teaching. I just graduated Langston University. I was brand new. First year teachers, you struggle and you don't have money to fill up the classroom the way that you want to. And so here I am, first year teacher, elementary education, and I go to an urban school. Now, this urban school is not like code for urban school. It was literally an urban school in the city with several different communities coming to it. We were pretty much a Title I school with about 98, 99% of Black and brown students.
Were you Title I before Title I was a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of free and reduced lunch students here. What I loved about this school was here I am thinking I'm going to be one of the only Black male elementary teachers because there weren't very many at all. I go into the school and the first person I meet was a Black male elementary education named Warren Pete. Shout out to Warren Pete. He was a 5th grade teacher. And so instantly I'm like, oh, there's more than just me here. This is going to be amazing. And then the entire crew, the entire team, very diversified with young and older educators, all the different races and colors. Like we were all there. So I thought that was real cool. But here I am, an elementary entry year teacher, and my assignment was 3rd grade.
Ooh, 3rd grade.
3rd grade. Now, I never really wanted the babies because I didn't want them, using the restroom on me or constant hugs. I wanted them to be old enough to, you can tell them what to do and they won't cry, things like that.
Oh, okay.
But in 3rd grade, all that happened in 3rd grade anyway. So, that was the setup to that. Are you ready for my story?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, is this story from your point of view Is it from the child's point of view or is it from the parent's point of view?
This one is going to come from my point of view.
Oh,
First year
my.
teacher, enter your teacher.
Okay.
Now, before we start the story, we always have to change the name to protect the identity.
Yes.
And so the person's real name is not the name that we are using in this. So, see, what had happened was I had a classroom of 16 students my very first year of teaching.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. And that was the only year I only had 16 students. Every other year, I was upper 20s, 29 and up. Mm-hmm. So here I am, I'm saying 16 students, you know, we can do a lot with 16 students. We can have center stations, like we can have all these things. And I looked at the list, and some of the other teachers looked at the list and they said, oh my goodness, you've got ED. And I was like, who's ED? And they were like, good luck, buddy. You got ED. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm thinking ED is the worst or the best student ever. And the more teachers who kept saying, ooh, you've got ED. And I'm like, okay. So now, you know, you mentally prepare. You've learned about this in teacher college.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Now let's clarify. Mm-hmm. When you say ED, are you saying ED as initials to protect? Are you saying ED as in emotionally disturbed?
Both. Okay. This student's initials were ED, and this student was severely emotionally disturbed.
Okay, I just want to clarify
for the audience. And the mama was a very spiritual, faith-based person. Mm-hmm. So mom was always like, we're just going to pray the demons out of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. First day of school, I meet ED. ED was cooler than the other side of the pillow. Really quiet, sat down. ED was intelligent. I mean, very, very bright. Like, I mean, you could give ED a question and like he would pop it off just like this. He already knew how to read, had the facts, all the good things. And I was like, dude, this is phenomenal. Way to go. So, you know, once again, you're thinking talented and you're thinking challenging. So I'm giving him challenging work. And I remember going to a restroom break with the class and we're reading books in the hall, you know, all the good things, the first week of school. Mm. And one of the teachers comes up to me and they just whispers, you've got ED. He's a runner. I said, he's a runner? I said, yeah, ED will just take off running full sprint any given moment, any given time. Mm. So, okay. All right. I'm thinking, he ain't gonna outrun me. I'm fast. Like, yeah, I may have on, you know, my suit and my tie or whatever, and my good shoes on, you know, he can't outrun me. Whatever. And so we go inside the classroom and we're working, and we're just normally working like we always do. And I started to see those ED episodes. The first one, he got on my teacher's desk and he says, I want to be Macho Man Randy Savage. And Macho Man Randy Savage is a wrestler who would jump off the top rope with the famous elbow drop. And so he would jump on my teacher desk and he would say, whoa! And then he would jump off with the elbow and crash on the floor. First year teacher. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm thinking he just broke his elbow because he's like, oh. Well, if you put your elbow on the desk, right, it's going to hurt. Then the next thing you would see, he would ball up his fist and he said, I'm going to punch you. And he would literally punch me. Just out the blue. Now, teacher training, of course, tells you that you cannot fight or hit a kid, but you can protect. And so here I am blocking him like, you better not try to hit me. What you going to do? Because he was trying to be a wrestler. So we had episodes like that, like the first month of school. And so here I am in the teacher meeting at the, teacher meetings, and they're saying, how's ED doing? And they're like, we told you to be ready because you got ED in your class. I'll never forget the worst story of ED. He did that a lot the entire year, at least over 40 to 50 times. He would try to steal from people's desks, including mine. He tried to take my car keys one time. During lunch, he tried to sneak out from the cafeteria, and he was pushing a little button to find the unlocked car. Oh, no. ED was truly ED. We were in class one day and everybody's focusing on the calendar board and we're going through our multiplications and we're revisiting and it was really quiet and it was like the best morning ever. And you know, as teachers, you feel those moments like you teaching,
Yeah.
you are in your bag, the kids are in their bag, and you're like, this is a day. All I heard was, and I looked and turned around, and one of the quiet students raised her hand. She said, Mr. Dowdy. I said, yes. ED just ran. And I look at the door is now wide open, and you just hear feet running in the hall.
What happened? What happened?
I scream, we've got a runner! I run out the room and I scream again to the rest of the team, we've got a runner! And so they knew ED was a runner. They were all at the school before me. And so one of the teachers took over my class and kind of watched my class and her class. And I just went running after him. And he's got maybe 50 to 60 yards ahead of me. He's already out the back side door of the school.
Wait a minute, let's pause.
Yes.
You were chasing him.
I was chasing him.
Where was your class?
My class stayed in the class.
By themselves?
By themselves. But we had a teacher coming in and kind of like checking in on.
Okay.
So when I screamed, we've got a runner.
Oh, okay.
They heard me and they saw me running. So she was kind of like watching out for both classes. He had gone down the back door, down the back steps, past the pre-K kindergarten area, out the back door towards the back of the cafeteria. So where the trash bins are, that's like where the loading dock is, all of that. He had already escaped past that. And I'm trying to find him and look for him in the hall, not knowing that he's already outside. So I'm walking up and down the halls and I see the back door wide open and there's no cafeteria staff or anyone nearby. So I go out that door and I see him in the field running. I take off running. Now, my elementary school was right next to a news channel's weather transmitter. You know, the big red antenna that goes up in the air for like 2 miles almost, and it has the red blinking lights. His goal was to run and climb that and do the Macho Man Randy Savage offer. So he's got 50, 60 yards on me before I discover where he's going. I'm still in my very good dress shoes with no grip, slipping and sliding. Oh, and I mean, I am going full sprint trying to catch him.
You say you can run. You say
I can. But 60 yards is 60 yards. That's a half of the length of a football field, and you're trying to catch this kid. And so I'm running after him, and we're chasing after each other. And he sees me, and he's giggling, but he's still in a full sprint. He gets to the fence. The fence has barbed wire on it. He climbs over the fence with the barbed wire. Oh my goodness. So now I'm thinking safety, he's got to be cut. Right. Like, oh, and I'm also thinking, dang, I got to climb a fence. Ooh. I'm in good outfit. Oh. I'm about to get cut. So he climbs it, I climb it, and he got up to about 8 feet on this weather tower.
What?
Yeah. And so I've got to climb the weather tower with him to get it. So we climb over the fence. It's nothing but gravel. He climbs on the gravel, and he's climbing up, 8 feet. And so I'm up there, and I'm out of breath. I've got asthma. I'm tired. My shirt is pulled out from the pants and everything. And I finally reach him. And I'm like, ED, are you crazy? And he was like, oh, you caught me. And then he just comes down.
Oh.
That was it. He's like, oh, you caught me. And then he comes down.
Oh. May have been going on.
Danielle, when I tell you, I was upset. Because now that the adrenaline is kind of calming down, we now got to get back over the barbed wire fence.
Oh my goodness.
And now getting back over is much more difficult than jumping over initially.
Oh wow.
And so we finally get over. I had to like I think I took off of a shirt, like I had a sweater shirt on, and I put that like kind of over, and then we kind of climbed over that part, and we didn't get nicked up as much.
Okay, let's dig deeper into this.
Yes.
As you're climbing back over the fence
Uh-huh.
and you're walking back to the building,
Right.
what is the conversation like between
He's
you?
like, I just wanted to be Macho Man Randy Savage. And his body language like this, very cheerful, happy. I thought that was going to be the best top rope. And so I'm asking him, like, you're really about to climb to the very top? He's like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, indeed. And so we walk back, we get to the office. And by the time I get to the office, the principal is there. And she's like, I'm glad you called him. She went on about her business because she knew he was a runner. Everybody in the school knew he was a runner. The principal's secretary was like, Dowdy, you said you was fast. I'm glad that you are fast because you called him. And so now they are teasing me in the office. Like,
not cool.
We're all laughing by this time.
Give me some water.
Oh, I did. I did. And the principal gave me one of her bottled waters from like her refrigerator in the office.
Oh, okay.
We called mom. Mom is like, he did what? I was like, Mom, we gotta have a conversation. Like, we need him suspended until you can come up here. Mom comes up that afternoon.
Why did you want him suspended?
He just endangered everybody. And I was like, this deserves a suspension. It did not really deserve a suspension. But that was just the frustration to me. Like, you had me run at least 200 yards from the school.
You gonna put that on the suspension paper? The reason why?
Yeah, the reason why. Yeah, because I had to chase him 200 yards. We climbed a fence. My new pants are now torn. My new shirt is torn. My sweater is torn. My shoes are hurting. My feet are hurting. I mean, all of the stuff. Had a conversation with Mama, and I said, Mama, I'm not a proponent of people like being evaluated and really taking Ritalin, because I understand the effects of giving our Black and brown students medication for, you know, ADD and ADHD, and they really don't have it. Like, I understood that from Langston University. They taught us that very well. But in that case, I was like, Mama, we got to get him evaluated. And she's like, there's nothing wrong with him. I said, Mama, he's been hitting all year and he just took off. That is dangerous. Had he gotten at least 12 to 15 feet and jumped, he would have jumped on the barbed wire fence. He would have been dead, Mama. She's crying now. I've been praying and we're just praying for a miracle. And I'm like, Mama, I'm a person of faith too. And I'll continue to pray with you. But in the meantime, let's go get him tested. Here's several facilities that will take him for the weekend. Mama never got him tested. Never. The last straw for ED was he started to hit Mama, because now ED is starting to grow and get his growth spurt. And he started punching Mama in the face.
Oh, wow.
And Mama came to school one day with a black eye.
Oh.
And I'm like, Mama? And my first thought was, you know, the spousal abuse. And so I was trying to lead those questions, and she just kind of said how he accidentally hit her. And I'm like, let's call the police. And she's like, no, ED. And I was like, ED hit you that hard to make your face look that black and blue? So then the shift really happened. The rest of the year, ED had episodes like that. He ran several times, but he never ever got to the weather tower again.
Back in those times, there was not a program specific for students who technically were ED.
There was, but he barely passed to not meet the requirements of that program.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he was inside of the classroom, the regular ed class with us. And like I said, I enjoyed everything about him. Very intelligent, smart, bright, loving kid. But when he had those episodes were tremendous. And we didn't see him that next year. When he went to fourth grade, his mom did take him out of school, or they moved or something, because he was no longer in the fourth grade or the fifth grade class. Lost touch with him. Um, so my heart hurt for him for that. I have tried to find him on social media. There is no trace of Ed on social media at all on that. But the funniest part of this entire story, the next staff meeting, right? We all walk back into the next staff meeting. And you know, at most staff meetings, you sit with your crew or you sit with the homies, you sit with your friends. And so I'm sitting down, and at least 12 teachers were like, so did you catch ED or not? And I mean, they teased me. And it was the funniest tease in the world. How was you running? Were you Carl Lewis? Like, I mean, they were really like, did you use your open hands like this because that makes you sprint fast? I mean, they let me have it. And we all giggle. Now I think about it, it's funny. But back then, it was terrible. It was scary. It was everything. And that's what had happened.
Wow, that's an interesting what had happened. So, looking back at that story, what advice would you give to other teachers if they were in that situation?
Yeah, I think the main one that, you know, you reflect on it now, ED was too close to the door. I would have moved him a lot farther away from the door.
Okay.
He was too close. I mean, he was kind of there, but one blink and he was already gone out the door. That would have been the first thing. The second thing is I probably would have looked at his cumulative folders and see some of the episodes that he had to prepare or better prepare
but
for.
But did you even know?
I did.
Being a first year teacher to look at the cumulative.
I did not.
Okay.
And so looking back, that's probably what I would have done. And just communicate with mom from day one. Like, what steps can we do to protect him at best? And then especially after when he started hitting mom, I wish that I would have jumped in more and maybe did a house visit or got some other professionals to go with me to do the house visit or something. But just to see that I didn't do enough, it was kind of sad.
What do you think, since you, looking back and now since you have your administrative license, if anything, what do you think the administration could have done differently? Other than laugh at your tail.
Yeah.
Come back.
and I love the administration. Administration was phenomenal. They are still great friends, and we still check on each other all the time. I wonder if, as an administrator, they gave him to me because I was the black male teacher. And I remember that year, out of the 16 students, 12 of them were boys. And so I wonder, they were like, he needs a good male figure. He need a good, and so I ended up with a lot of the males that year. I wonder if that was it. I also wonder if some of the other teachers in that third grade team couldn't handle him. And that's why they put him in my room. Like I said, for the most part, he was a really good kid, but when he had those episodes, he had those episodes. So maybe as an administrator, split up. But if there are EDs in everybody else's room, including yours, I can see where that would be an issue.
If you'd like to sponsor an episode of this podcast or have your business featured on a future episode, please email at contact@andredowdy.org. Some of the best educators in the world are people you've never heard of. They aren't on TV or getting the National Teacher of the Year awards. We want to give those teachers their flowers today. We know the sacrifice and the heavy lifting these educators go through daily without any recognition. With that said, we present Sprout Outs. Sprout Outs is sponsored by Pinkie and Petals. Owner and founder Jamaica Lewis has always loved flowers as a kid, and after her mom passed, she wanted to design the same flower arrangements she saw at her mom's funeral. She went to design school and learned how to craft and design floral arrangements. From there, the design started at home, and after great feedback, her business has flourished worldwide. Weddings, funerals, special occasions, and more. Pinkie and Petals ships artificial designs and delivers local ones in the Denver, Colorado area for now, until after COVID. All right, honey, who would you like to sprout out today?
Today's sprout out is none other than you.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really want to sprout you out. I keep telling folks this, and folks just don't know. Danielle Daughtys is a phenomenal educator.
Wow.
She has those
Thank you.
second grade babies reading with excellence.
Aw.
I mean, she has them excited. She has them moving, engaging, even during COVID. Like they know safety and they know cleanliness.
Yes, they do.
They know how to wipe down stuff. I mean,
Yes.
she is phenomenal. So
Thank you,
for
honey.
those who may not know, she also was the teacher of the year at her school. I mean, she's phenomenal. Just people just don't know it. And so, baby, I want to shout you out.
No, you want to sprout me out.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, baby.
Oh, caught me off guard. Okay.
Yeah. We believe when one wins, we all win. And we would love for you to help us win. Some of the ways to do that is to subscribe to our channel. Our information is down below here. And we would love for you to follow us on this journey and see what that happens. Well, that's the end of the story and the end of our first episode. We truly appreciate you hanging out with us. Don't forget to join us next time for See What Had Happened.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcast.